Yeah, that's when I was in the Navy. That's what they did.
Not in the Navy.
Okay, good evening. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Buchanan City Commission. It's Monday, April 22nd, 2024 at 7 p.m. This evening, the City Commission staff and community would like to recognize Timothy Gaines, Director of Public Safety, on his retirement, and I believe we're going to be starting with Mr. McCallum. You want to say something?
Oh, and Andy's got the paper. All this time he's been waiting, Tim.
All right. Can everybody hear me okay? All right. So I just wanted to say congratulations to Tim. I wrote a little thing on here. I mean, obviously this little piece of paper is not really going to say everything I could say about Tim, but I figured I'd sum it up into a little speech for you guys. But I just wanted to let you guys know that every once in a while we meet a person who makes a huge impact on your life, and Tim's no exception to that. I've had the pleasure of working with Tim for over 8 years now, and I can't say enough about this man. Tim is the kind of guy who would give you the shirt off his back, and he wouldn't ask any questions. Anytime we had a problem, we always knew Tim's door was always open. Even when it was closed, we would open it anyways. No matter what he was working on, no matter how important it was, he was always there to listen to what we had to say, and he would always try to do his best to steer us in the right direction. At times, he had to play many roles at the department, sometimes a father figure, a chief, a referee, and a mentor. The city is suffering a huge loss with Tim retiring, but this is the loss that's to be celebrated. I can't think of anyone more deserving of this than him. He has put his heart and soul into this department and this city. Although we are going to miss him, he will never be forgotten, because when I look at my fellow coworkers, I see a little piece of Tim in each of us left behind. When Tim hired me, I thought I was joining a department, but what I didn't realize at the time was I was actually joining a family. And at that time, that's what Tim made our department feel like, was a family. I hold the utmost respect for this man, and I would like to wish him a happy retirement and a good luck on his future endeavors. And I'm not going to say goodbye, because you will always be a part of my family. So instead, I will say see you later.
Tim?
Well, it has been an honor to serve with Tim, as not only coming in as our assistant chief, but moving up to chief and then becoming our public safety director. I've known Tim, I mean, he's been in law enforcement for 40 years, but I've known him for a good part of that with the Sheriff's Department and us working together with Buchanan and the Sheriff's Department, and then after his retirement coming with us. One of the biggest things that Tim has brought to our department and the community is a reestablished sense of integrity, as well as a sense of family within the department, and taking to heart the importance of community and reestablishing and reaffirming how important our police-community relations and partnerships are. With that, we are going to miss him, even though he says he's retiring and going some weird places, have no clue where he's going, Florida, stuff like that. It has been an honor to serve with him. It's been an honor to learn from him and to be mentored by him. But it's also not quite a loss. He'll still be around, but we want to honor him. And I know, Mr. Mayor, you have something for him to recognize his service to the Buchanan community.
I do. I am honored, Tim, on behalf of the City Commission, to give you this plaque that says, "Congratulations on your retirement. Timothy Gaines, Director of Public Safety. Thank you for your loyal and dedicated service to the Buchanan Police Department and community. Now, as the day dawns on the next chapter in your life, may God's blessings be upon you as you follow in His way, and may you find joy and peace as He inspires you every day."
You know, Tim has a couple of words to say, throwing him under the bus with all of his representatives from the department. Have at it.
First of all, I have my lovely wife here with me tonight, so thank you for all those years of putting up with all this stuff, all those hours. So thank you. I love you so much. Commissioners, Mayor, commissioners, thank you so much. Thank you for your support throughout all those years. Thank you for the support for the police department. We talk about all these great things that couldn't have been done without your guys' support as we move forward. And as you guys are going to continue to move forward, as us older guys pass off that baton to those younger guys to carry on what we have started. So thank you so much. To the citizens of Buchanan, it's been an honor and a pleasure to have served you for all those years. I appreciate it. Thank you for your loyalty. Thank you for your help. And thank you for your support. I couldn't have done it without a community like this. So thank you so much. And my coworkers, my friends, as I look around here, there's so many of them. And that's what makes this place worth coming to work, is these people right here. These officers, this city staff, everyone. I appreciated them so much. You guys are my dear friend, each and every one of you. And you guys are going to be missed so much. So with that said, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Very humbled to all this, so thank you.
Don't want to ever piss him off.
Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? Thank you. Congratulations again, Tim, and job well done. Can we have a roll call, please?
Dennison,
Here.
Whedon,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
Money,
Present.
Swem.
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Accept a motion to approve the agenda.
Sean will make said motion.
Thank you. Is there support?
This is money I would support.
We have a roll call, please?
Whedon,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swem,
Yes.
Dennison.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. At this time, I open the floor up for public comment on agenda items only. If you'd like to make a public comment, please make your way to the podium and state your name for the minutes. Going once. Okay. Seeing no one, we'll move down to the consent agenda. Accept a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved.
I'll support. Can we have roll call, please?
Bianski,
Yeah.
Money,
Yes.
Swem,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Whedon.
Yes.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Okay, moving to reports by departments, committees, and boards, starting with the Buchanan Tree Friends Chair, Mr. Brian Murphy.
Thank you. I'm joined by the Vice Chair of the Tree Friends, Richard Martin. It says on the agenda, we're going to talk about Tree City USA status, upgrader grants, and Arbor Day plans. What it doesn't say is why we're actually here. which is at the request of Commissioner Swem, who wanted an update from us on the request of the Tree Friends that we be consulted and advise the city on the tree planting that'll happen on Front Street. So that's one of the things. We will do these other things as well. But the reason why we asked for the meeting was because about 3 months ago, Commissioner Swem asked us to do this, and so Richard will talk about that. So we're going to follow up on that. We're going to talk about Arbor Day, and we're going to talk about the DNR grant. But first, we wanted to thank some people. And first, I want to thank Tim. Tim came into this, we had already passed the resolution, where we presented the resolution to you, calling for a tree plan, asking you to ask the city manager to gather the Department of Public Works and start a tree plan. He inherited that. He's drinking from a fire hose, but he's been great. He's been cordial, and we're advancing. It's not as fast as we'd like, but it's moving. And so thank you, Tim.
You're welcome.
To Mike Baker and his staff at DPW, you guys are amazing. They dug all these holes for us last week. We planted 30 trees. You guys are great. Thank you for that. To Deb Perez, Deb has really stepped up. Tim's asked her to step up. She's going to become the city's tree inventory keeper and work with Mike and the DPW team on a process for recording maintenance and removals and planting so that the inventory will be kept up. We couldn't be happier that Deb's agreed to do that. And Courtney Bayham has worked with us on our bookkeeping. We've created a separate account for Tree Friends so we can account for monies coming in and going out. We can better report to the grant. We want to thank Calla because of her work in helping us maintain and our Arbor Day status. Thank you for that. The requirements aren't that many, but the application process is more than it needs to be. Yes. But we also want to thank you all, the commissioners, all of you. Each and every one of you has been supportive of Tree Friends. I know Commissioner Vigansky calls me, asking me questions. I know Commissioner Swem and I met with one of our Tree Friend members, Jared Huttenstein, and we know, Dan, you're always in favor of it. And, Larry's going to assemble the American Legion for us to do. I'm going to talk about that in a couple seconds with Arbor Day. And then, so I thanked all of you, right? Sean was there for the planting, so thank you, Sean, for that and for all your support. But most importantly, I want to thank volunteers. You can't say volunteer in this town without saying Jerry Flenner. So Jerry, thank you for that and for everybody that came out. We had a great crew of volunteers at our planting last week. So, I like to lead with gratitude. How'd I do? Pretty good, right? I mean, everybody's here. I think what Tim summed it up. This is a great city to be doing stuff in. Now I'm going to call on Richard to talk about the planting downtown and the work we've done so far.
Richard Martin, 920 Chippewa. And I'd first like to say it was picture night for soccer, and we got the pink shirts. How about that? Okay, so we were asked to, as a committee, to recommend trees for downtown when the new streetscape is all done. One of the things that I've been doing is looking, first of all, I looked at the inventory to see what trees were downtown. There are 15 Bradford pear, 5 red maple, and 1 ginkgo tree. They're all doing well. They're all doing very well. But especially the red maples, they're doing quite nice. We've been looking at what is recommended for downtown areas, and I found that ginkgo, hackberry, hawthorn, cherry, and river birch are more tolerant of root damage caused by sidewalks. So those are some that we will have to be considering. Another thing that we're looking at is how do you plant trees downtown differently than you do anywhere else? We found that if underneath a sidewalk you've got a bunch of gravel and you make a big box out of that gravel, the roots are going to travel down instead of out under the sidewalk. So that's something we're going to have to consider. Another is if you water trees for a long time, but then don't water them for a couple of weeks, and then water them for a long time, and then don't water them for a couple of weeks, they'll put deeper roots down instead of out under the sidewalk. That's what we don't want. By the way, I noticed that there was a sidewalk going around a tree down at the park, Victory Park. Yeah, it looks really nice. They put a big radius on that sidewalk. So I just wanted to say that we are currently researching how to plant trees, what species are going to be the best, and we will have a report later on about that.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Are we gonna be able to save the maples that are down there?
Well, we could save them if we had someone who came in with a big tree spade and pulled them out and put them somewhere temporarily. I'm thinking months, maybe a year, and then put them back. Yes, we could do that, Dan.
So we just have to look for somebody to volunteer that service,
Somebody to volunteer.
and somebody that knows how to
service.
sell
It's
it.
gonna be
Yeah.
expensive, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I know it's not cheap, because,
Or we plant new ones.
right, but I mean, if we could save them, but the pears I'm not worried about, because that's basically a weed anyhow, right?
Yeah,
Get rid
yeah.
of those, yeah.
Okay,
But the red maples that are there now, they're getting to be pretty good size.
right,
And the grates that you put down around a tree, some of those are getting to be maxed out to the size of that grate, so it
well,
might.
maybe if somebody wants them,
Yeah,
and they
well,
come get them,
Yep,
that'd be better than just destroying them,
agreed.
I agree, yep. Mhm.
and then we wouldn't have to worry about saving them. So I mean, I just wanted to put that out there.
I think it's something, when we get to that point, Dan, we can put something online, and if it's something that tree friends,
I know it's not cheap, I know it's not cheap.
No, no.
We're in favor of saving trees, but, you know, you have a cost-benefit analysis.
Well, I understand that, that's why I asked.
Yeah.
But if somebody was willing to come in and get them,
Yep, they'd be,
All the electric and water run right underneath those trees that go through there.
but if we're gonna be removing them anyway,
And the fiber optic that runs through town and everything else, you're not gonna be able,
so it's not an option.
you're not tree spading those trees out.
Okay,
oh,
okay.
yeah,
Good
we know,
point.
okay.
We'll plant new trees.
That's-
yeah,
Okay, I need you up here still.
there we go, I'll take it.
Okay, I also, before I move on with Arbor Day, I want to say today's Earth Day. I want to read something that I got in the mail this morning. In February 1970, President Nixon sent a special message to Congress on environmental quality. He said, "We have too casually and too long abused our natural environment." Richard Nixon wrote, "The time has come when we can wait no longer to repair the damage already done and to establish new criteria to guide us in the future." He said the tasks that need to be doing require money, resolve, and ingenuity. He said, and they are too big to be done by government alone. He said they call for fundamentally new philosophies of land, air, water use, stricter regulation, for expanded government action, for greater citizen involvement, and for new programs to ensure that government, industry, and individuals are all called upon to do their share of the job and to pay their share of the cost. I think this is pertinent to what Dan was just asking about. We'd like to, so he did that in 1970. The first Earth Day was held on April of that year, following Nixon's statement. It brought more than 20 million Americans together, 10% of the total population of the country at the time, to call the nation to address the damage done by 150 years of unregulated industrial development. The movement included members of all political parties, rich Americans and their poorer neighbors, people who lived in the city and those who lived in the country, labor leaders and their employers. It was the largest protest in the history of our country, 20 million people in 1970. In July 1970, at the Advice and Council convened to figure out how to consolidate government programs to combat pollution, Nixon proposed to Congress a new agency, the Environmental Protection Agency, which Congress created that December. I think it's important that we remember this. And in honor of Earth Day 2024, President Joe Biden has called for carrying on the legacy of our predecessors by building a greener, more sustainable planet, and with it, a healthier, more prosperous nation. This is a bipartisan issue, and we're glad to be a part of it as tree friends. And Arbor Day Foundation, in the last 50 years, has also been upping its game, and there's the thing of the designation of Tree City USA. We were given this flag. "30 years, something for all of us to be proud of. It's our city's commitment." We thought about having it replace that one, but that one's too pretty. So we're gonna leave that one there, and we're gonna give this to the middle school that will display it in their little common there they have as you walk in. We're also talking with Shelby Beasley and Ryan Franczak over there about designating the middle school as our Tree Friends connection to the Buchanan Community Schools. To that end, we will celebrate Arbor Day this week. Earth Day today, Arbor Day is Friday, but we're gonna celebrate it in Buchanan on Thursday because the schools are closed on Friday. Part of our Tree City USA requirements is that the mayor reads the proclamation. He will not be there Thursday, so Larry Money's going to read it at the middle school. But Sean, you can read it now officially at the commission meeting.
Whereas in 1872, the Nebraska Board of Agriculture established a special day to be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday, called Arbor Day, was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can be a solution to combating climate change by reducing the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, cutting heating and cooling costs, moderating the temperature, cleaning the air, producing life-giving oxygen, and providing habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they're planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now therefore, I, Sean Dennison, Mayor of the City of Buchanan, Michigan, do hereby proclaim Thursday, April 25th, 2024 as Arbor Day in the City of Buchanan, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations, dated this 22nd day of April, 2024.
Thank you, Sean. On Thursday, we'll celebrate at the middle school at 1:15. Commissioner Money's there. Any other commissioners that are around, if you could be there, that'd be great. We're going to do something different this year. We're going to have a procession. We're going to parade in. We're going to have a drummer from the middle school. We're going to have color guard from the American Legion. One of the kids is going to carry one of the seedlings, which is a dogwood. We're going to give all the 5th graders a seedling and encourage them to plant it in their home. Rich is going to talk to them a little bit about importance of planting the tree and maintaining a tree. So we're going to be fulfilling our role as advocates of conservation and of education. And then finally, an update on the DNR grant. As you know, we presented the resolution. I'm not going to read it to you, that we presented here about a year ago. And we, just to remind you, the city invested in the tree inventory. It was about $4,200. It was a matching grant with the DNR. We said with that, it exposed a necessity for a plan. And so we need a tree plan in this town if we're going to be planting a lot more trees. And so this is what we then got the grant, recently the grant from the DNR. The grant had 4 elements. One was planting, which we just completed last week. I don't think you need to talk about it, but we did. You all know we planted about 30 trees. We got another 10 coming in May. Then there was money for a subscription for the tree inventory, which is $2,500 a year. We think we can try to raise that every year, but it was good that we got that in, so now we've extended it. It'll be our 3rd year with the inventory. Training. Rich right now is the only person in the city that knows how to use the inventory. It's not good to have a volunteer. It's not sustainable. So Deb has agreed to get trained, learn it. We're talking to Mike the other day about overlaying onto the GIS system for the city. Really important advances there. So we have this inventory. So those are 3, and then the 4th was planning. So we've got 20 hours of consulting time for this planning. We're not there yet, but some of the things that have come up with the Tree Friends are planting in brownfields. We know that that's probably our greatest opportunity for planting in city-owned property. We need to have a better plan for addressing all the removals systematically over a course of maybe 10 years. We need to enforce our tree ordinance. We need to figure out how to do that through the plan. We need a budget. We need to have an appropriate budget which is based on effective planning, not just a plug number to fulfill our Tree City USA requirements. And then I came up with this idea, so I haven't really talked about it, but I'm going to bring it up here anyway. I think we should incentivize private property owners to plant on their properties. We can raise money for this, maybe through the DNR, have the city have some game in it. We can save a limited amount of money for people to plant on their properties. We've got the volunteers that know how to plant. If we could get the city to agree to maybe help use the tree auger to dig the holes on private property, and if we can then say to a homeowner, if you put in $50 or something, we'll have grant money and maybe some money from the city, that we could then say, let's plant in private property. Limited amount every year. But that way, over the course of the next 30 years, we can really make an impact on the tree canopy here and get it where we want, back to where it used to be, from what I understand, from way before I lived here. That is all I have. Any questions? Oh, Rich is going to say something.
I just want to mention that when we plant 30 trees, it's not just, let's take delivery of these trees and put them in a hole. First of all, we have to call Miss Dig to make sure that we don't do anything bad. We also had to meet with a number of business owners. The 31 feet from the center of the road, some of these trees are farther in than that, and we asked them, could we plant something in your yard? No, we didn't say it that way. We said, we're from the city, we're going to be planting trees in your lawn. We'd like to place them so that they don't interfere with your sign. And everybody was real happy to come out and work with us. So we had to do that. We had to then dig the holes. The city dug quite a few of them. We dug a lot of them by hand. Then we took delivery of the trees, but it was a week before we were planting. So we had to stage those behind a number of buildings. The city did that for us. We had, no, wait a minute, hang on here. We had Cameron, Ron, and Clay who dug holes and moved trees around for us. They did an amazing job. I even called them after lunch that day and said, I brought a couple more trees down and we put a couple by the wrong holes. Can you come fix that? And they said, we'll be right down after we eat lunch. And they were. They were amazing. But you have to do all that, and then you get the volunteers, then you put the things in the ground, and it was just a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
No.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Moving on to item B, Community Development Report, Director Mr. Rich Murphy.
Good evening, Rich Murphy, Community Development Director. Just one brief item this evening. I have a application for renewal for an adult use retail license for High Profile at 804 East Front Street. Have received the application. It is in good order. The fees are paid and the background has been conducted by the Buchanan Police Department to their satisfaction. So my recommendation is approval.
Anybody like to make a motion?
Sean will make a motion to approve the adult use retail renewal permit for High Profile as presented.
Thank you. Is there support?
This is money I'll support. No representative here for the dispensary?
I don't see one.
Do you know, Rich, how much business has gone down since they've opened up in New Buffalo?
No, I don't.
Usually they show up to get their license authorized, so I was just kind of curious. Did they offer to have anybody come here?
They usually do, I don't know.
I mean, it's a non-issue, but I would like to know, and I've heard all kinds of numbers on, how much it's gone down, and not that it does make a difference, but I was just curious. That's all, Your Honor.
I actually have a question. Harvey, how have, since our incident a year ago, how have conversations gone with High Profile? Have we run into many other instances, just traffic related over
Right.
there? It's a little different than other places.
Right, so for 420, that happened this past Saturday. We had our reserves available. They did reach out ahead of time because we had talked about the issue of cars coming in the street, so we made sure we had signs out and everything that they couldn't park. They tried as much as possible to manage what they could, so they weren't on the street or roadway. I'm not sure if they communicated with the businesses in the area there, but we didn't have any complaints actually about traffic or anything in the roadway. Not saying that Dollar General or some of the others may have had some concerns because there was some wrapping around there.
Sure.
That was just harder to manage, but they have been working with us. They have reached out, and they do try to keep us abreast of that, and we gave them options. So they seem to have worked with trying to do that before reaching out to us to have some of our reserves provide that kind of service if needed.
Great. Thank you, Harvey.
Is the state gonna rescind that curbside delivery? That was implemented during COVID.
That I don't know. I haven't heard.
Who would we wanna reach out to, or could we do that locally?
It depends on what's in the state statute. I don't know. So it's gonna depend on how that's statute in the law there.
I mean, cause that was implemented because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
You got a lot of lobbyist money up there now, I'm sure.
right.
Well-
But they haven't said anything about that, so until the state tells us something directly, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I do wanna congratulate the dispensaries on having a very successful 420. I wish the city would've participated it a little bit more and done something down at the, city center, maybe opened up the farmer's market from 6 to 12 until 6. There's plenty of people that were using their rummage sale certificates to open up little bourgeois on the streets so people would stop in and buy their wares, people that are usually in the farmer's market. And 420 next year is on Easter, so brace yourself.
Oh, wow.
We have a motion and we have support. Can we have roll call, please?
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Moving down to new business. Ordinance number 2024-05, 438. Consider the first reading of ordinance number 2024-05, 438, an ordinance amending the City of Buchanan zoning ordinance, Article 7, R3 multifamily zoning district, Article 21, group homes and adult foster care facilities. Mr. Murphy?
All right, so at our last Plan Commission meeting, the Plan Commission did consider the petition and unanimously adopted the amendment as proposed. So the due process now is that the amendment comes before the City Commission for 2 readings. Tonight is our first reading. The petition was brought forward by Buchanan Meadows, anticipating an expansion of their facility. They've been there for a long time. Actually, their existing footprint predates our existing zoning code. So they're not even compliant in our existing zoning code, let alone an expansion. There's been a lot of change in this industry. We discussed it on the Plan Commission level for several months. The proposed amendment was reviewed by the city attorney, and we took a look at other ordinances and other densities. We find this to be proper and anticipating an expansion, which would be a significant investment in Buchanan. These facilities are efficient users and high taxpayers. So you could envision if there is an expansion on adjacent land that they use, could be significant tax base for our city. Also, we drew from our master plan information that states that we are in need as a community of adult care and elder care facilities. This is something that communities across the Great Lakes region, especially as our citizens become older, that we need this type of housing, and it typically is a good thing for a city because it's an efficient, kind of low footprint operation, still paying high taxes, but that allows visitors and generations of people to come and visit perhaps older adult care people residents who live at the facility. By all accounts, Buchanan Meadows runs a a very well-run establishment, well-maintained, good feedback. We did a lot of due diligence and research and really came back with some favorable reports. So we've adopted the Plan Commission petition, citing the findings that it is a good move forward for Buchanan. Now it comes to the City Commission for your ratification.
I'll just add, Rich, that we also had a representative from Buchanan Meadows who attended our last planning commission meeting. I think Matt Pleasant can attest to the fact that the guy was really knowledgeable and really helpful in helping us understand what they were looking to do and what they've done in other municipalities as well. Someone like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Is there support? Let's get support and then we can have a discussion.
I'll support.
Discussion?
Is this is the Alzheimer's unit, right? On Carroll? Or is this Mill
Yeah, I
Pond?
don't know if that's the correct term, but it is an adult care facility.
Well, it's substantially Alzheimer's. Excuse me for not being
I don't-
correct.
I don't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they call them memory care in the industry, but
Yeah. Is that what it is? Memory
yeah,
care?
chemo, yeah.
Okay. Excuse me, I mean, I worked with Alzheimer's patients 25 years ago. That's what they called them then. That's a very nice unit. And I did ask some pretty serious questions. And the way this reads, they're reducing from 3,000 to 2,000, but they're not reducing space for the clients. They're just changing the rules because you still are gonna have the same size room for the clients. So I just wanted to make that clear too. So,
The other thing I'll just add is we still retain in the law a special use provision, so it gives us extra scrutiny on any proposed expansion where we could impose conditions or make suggestions to the project. So it still gives the city control to guide good development. So.
Okay, we have a motion, we have support. Can we have roll call, please?
Swam,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Bianski,
yes.
Money,
Yes.
motion carries.
I just got one more question for Rich.
Yeah.
Do you know what they're building across the street from the memory unit? You don't have
That's
to
a
stay.
private home.
That is a private home? That is part of the city of Buchanan, though? Because it's really weird right there, because Carroll Street, the Scarecrow ladies are in the township, and that house is in the city.
Lockheed Lane
It's in the city,
out
I
of
know.
the city, and then the other one is in.
All right.
It's a house.
Well, it's nice to know. It looks like a fairly good-sized home.
It's a barn dominium.
So,
A barn dominium.
what the hell is that?
That's what I was, that's how it was.
It's a very nice barn.
It's a barn dominium. It's a really large barn that you partially live in. Okay, moving down to item B, Resolution 2024-412. Consider Resolution 2024-412, a resolution to negotiate the summer school tax collection fee.
I'll move to approve resolution 2024.04/12 as presented.
I'll support.
Support. Can we have roll call, please?
Dennison,
Yes.
Whedon,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Moving down to item C, consider the expenditures in the amount of $80,538.08 for April 22nd, 2024.
I will make that motion.
Is there support?
Money I'll support.
I didn't talk to Tim this week about anything. The only question I have for you, Tim, should we look at a different pest control contractor? Because they've got several different prices. I mean, they do each building and they do a different price.
Yeah.
There's certain bills in here that I would like to take a look at,
All right.
similar to that one, yes.
And I'm sorry I didn't reach out to you, but you've been really busy and I've had a
No, that's
very
fine.
insane week. Very insane.
That's a good question.
Thank you.
Point well taken.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion, we have support. Can we have roll call, please?
Whedon,
Yes.
Bianski,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swam,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Moving down to communications. Are there any communications from Tim or Isabel? No? All right, going to public comment on non-agenda items. If you'd like to make a public comment, please make your way to the podium. State your name for the minutes.
My name is George McManus. My address is 3825 East Britton Avenue, Benton Harbor, Michigan. I've been a farmer in Berrien County for 42 years. Last fall I retired. I'm running for Berrien County Drain Commissioner. Trying to bring some accessibility to that office and affordability and accountability and cooperation. Work more closely with the County Board of Commissioners, and I'm introducing myself to the townships and the other municipalities. If I'm elected, I'll be working with you in the future, so I just wanted to say hi.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to make a public comment on a non-agenda item?
My favorite topic. Dial-A-Ride. We have a new bus, and at our last meeting, Niles and Buchanan, we had 77,000 riders.
All right.
Up light.
Great. Thank you, Norma. Anyone else wishing to make a public comment?
Jerry Flinner, 16485 Rynearson Street. I'm not really the chairman to talk to this, but I don't see anybody from the Barb here. So this Saturday, there's going to be a Buchanan Earth Day cleanup, and a number of organizations have gotten together. We're going to meet down at the Commons at 9 o'clock. Hopefully work till we get what we're trying to accomplish done. We're going to work in a lot of the parks. We were going to work in the creek, but I was informed by a number of trout fishermen that if we're in the water, it's called harassment. So I don't think we'll be in the creek, but we might be cleaning up some areas along the creek. So if you're not doing anything Saturday, or if you are doing something, please come down to the Commons at 9 o'clock. We've got like 4 or 5 different group leaders. They're going to take people to a specific area and do a cleanup. So thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
Anyone else wishing to make a public comment? Okay, moving down to executive comments. City Manager?
Okay, I'd like to take a minute here just to update the commission and the citizens on a few things. One being the Days Avenue McCoy Creek sinkhole project. We retained an engineering firm in February to design a fix for that. The project is currently in the permitting process with Michigan EGLE relating to performing work in McCoy Creek. They've developed 3 conceptual designs, and we will be reviewing those 3 designs along with some cost opinions, which we have not received yet. And based upon the design and the costs and the permitting process, we will choose one of those. And we would like to do, I personally would like to do the one that's most expeditious for getting the job done. We've made several visits to the site with the engineers, Mike, Sean's been down there a few times, and we want to get this project moving, and we hope to continue our progress that we've made. As for the wall at the Hovind Funeral Home up there, I have discussions with an engineering firm to design a fix for that, and I'm working with them on that, and we will move on that as expeditiously as possible and have funds in the budget to address that project. And in our annual Rites of Spring last week, we submitted our property and liability insurance for renewal through the Michigan Municipal League, and we submitted our workers' compensation fund renewal through the Michigan Municipal League as well. Those are things you always do this time of year, right when it's springtime. That's all I have.
Thank you. Moving down to Commissioner comments. Commissioner Whedon?
Thanks, Sean. First and foremost, Tim, thank you for everything. I think everybody said everything they needed to say tonight, and I would imagine everybody's going to say some really kind things, but it's been an honor to be associated with you for 5 years, and the city of Buchanan is honored to have you for those number of years. I don't, how many years? 30 years here? 40? 112 here? Okay, yeah. That's what I thought. It felt like 112, but I know that a lot more things can be said for your kindness and generosity to the city, so thank you so much. Tree Friends, thank you so much for everything you do for bringing attention to the trees. It was wonderful. Everywhere you go in Buchanan in the last week, there was holes being dug and trees being planted, and they line in this street and that street and out in front of the middle school, and they're just everywhere, right? And there's some in my house that I would like to take down, but every time I think of them, I'm like, man, I just have to deal with Richard if I want to take him down. But eventually, yeah, well, there's some that are just going to be damaging at some point, so I would think your authorization would be welcomed. But thank you for everything you do. 420 Day, Chief, thank you so much. Traffic, to Dan's point, was definitely down. I don't know the percentage, but it was up for our small town. And it was good for the mercantile downtown. It was good for the foot traffic. I think the dispensaries handled themselves with decorum. I think that the community, when I was in town, and the visitors that came to town handled themselves with decorum. I think that the police presence was well documented and spoke about online. And I mean, once again, like, we all are well aware of what New Buffalo's doing. That's all well and good. But you know what? The one thing they don't have is what Buchanan has. And I've spoke about it many, many times. We offer the peace and tranquility of the kindness of not only our police department, our school systems, the city commission, and just people in general. Like, we welcome Buchanan, we welcome people to our town. We have people are moving in down the street from me. We have houses being sold all over the place. That means something. People, that means something. And I know there's negativity and people have opinions, but gosh darn it, man. When we have a Taco Bell we have a Taco Bell that looks nice. And I know that sounds cheap, and I realize that may not mean something to some people, but it's what we asked. I know it's funny. It is funny, but the dispensaries complement our town. Taco Bell complements our town, right? They're not gaudy. They're not unwelcoming. They're not cheap. And when I see dollar stores, and that was the first thing I saw was Family Dollar and Dollar General, and I thought, wow, this is going to look cheap. No, it doesn't, because what people bring to the city, what we represent as a city, and then how we conduct ourselves, come on, that thing's still clean. That's not indicative of what we normally see around a Taco Bell. That's great news, and hopefully one day we can get tailgaters sold, right, so that becomes a compliment to that area. Julie, that's on you. Get out there hustling, girl. All right. But all in all, thank you so much to everybody. The town is fantastic. It's clean. It's picked up. We walk all over the place, and it's a fun town to work in. And Mike, hopefully, I'm surprised that nobody said anything about the trash, but I'm sure you guys were on top of it the minute that 420 was done, because I walked down there and my first thought was your team, like, oh, he's going to get blasted online for somebody not picking up 5 minutes after they left town. So I'm sure you guys were on it Monday morning. But, yep. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for the city, Tim. Thank you once again. Sorry, I probably took all the topics, but he let me go first.
Commissioner Swim?
Yeah. You're good. I've had the honor of knowing Tim since I was a little boy, growing up with his son Tyler, so I've got to see Tim from more than just his position at the city, and I don't think anybody could compliment him more than what he received from his staff today. So thank you so much, Tim, for all your years and the time you've put in, and I hope you have just the absolute best time in retirement, so best of luck. A couple topics to hit. So the chamber, we're coming up. We'll have our annual raffle here soon, as well as our annual golf outing coming up in May. So be on the lookout for that. Please participate. Two of the major funding sources for your Buchanan Chamber for the entire year. Tree Friends, you guys get all the compliments in the world. Another huge success. Keep up the great work. I'm looking forward to hearing what the fall planting number it comes up as. The trail. I drug my kids for 8 miles across that entire trail on Sunday. Stopped at many local merchants along the way, and we had the absolute best trails, looking fantastic. So it's such a huge asset to this community, and the amount of time and effort that goes into it. We saw tons and tons of people out there on it, so it's getting used. It is a valuable asset. Our finance team, we had a finance meeting last week. Really, really impressed with our progress that we continue to make. Tim and the team are on top of the books. I think we'll be really excited when we finally see our year-end budget amendments, and I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but that spending control topic that we've been talking about for a while, Tim's on it. He's working hard on it, and the numbers are getting cleaner, easier to understand every day. So great work there. And then while I'm on the topic of Tim, he's just been busting his tail between the water treatment plant and everything else he's been juggling on here. So I just want to continue to express my appreciation for you, Tim. You're working hard. Keep up the great work. Thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Commissioner Yansky.
I really have to explain why I laugh, because the argument in my house, my wife loves Taco Bell. I was raised, spent a lot of time in Wyoming. There was a Mama's on every corner. So Tex-Mex is not Taco Bell. I'm sorry. I'll leave it at that. 420, I want to congratulate, but I want to reiterate, I believe the city should do more. Tim, obviously I've talked to you, you know, I'm not one for, you know, so I'll leave it at that. The election rules, Cal will run off, but can you, the deadline is the 23rd of July. Is there anything prospective people need to know, or do you know, or do I need to talk to Cal?
You can talk to Cal for, more detail, but it's all in the commissioner packet if you have a commissioner packet.
Okay, all right.
But
And I wanted to say thank you to the petition people that went out and collected petition signatures. I'm not going to touch on it too hard, but I am ashamed of some of the people in this community that call themselves leaders, and how they act. I mean, when the recall was out there against me, you never seen me. You never see me on Facebook. You didn't see nothing. You didn't hear any complaints from nobody, you know? And the charges were not even close to being the same. So it really bothers me that a little old lady can't be not harassed by the police, can't be harassed by school board members, cannot be harassed by school leaders or commission leaders. I think it's very sad, you know, and that I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you.
Commissioner Money?
I want to start by saying congratulations and all the other kudos that go to Tim. You've done a great job since you've been here. Everyone appreciates you, you know. Like I say, you can't say any more than your staff has said for you and the people of Buchanan. So thank you very much for all your hard work and everything, and it's always been a pleasure working with you. I'm fortunate enough you weren't here when I was younger. You didn't have to arrest me for something, but I mean, you know. Thanks to Brian and Rich and the Tree Friends for, what you do. I mean, you guys are busy. I know when I drove into town a couple weekends ago, and you guys were out there along with the city crews punching holes in the ground along, Front Street. It's really great to see you guys out there doing what you do and doing it well. So. And it's kind of exciting, this Arbor Day program that you've put together at the school. I mean, it sounds pretty cool. So, yeah, and thanks for including us in that. Tim, and to all the staff down here at City Hall, once again, we all know that you guys do a great job and you stay busy, and, we just can't say enough for coming on board, helping us out when we needed help. And once again, this commission for all the work that they do. I truly appreciate it. It's a pleasure working with each and every one of them. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank Tim too. You're doing a hell of a job, and we're lucky to have you.
Thanks.
The Tree Friends, thank you. Like they said, you guys are a hoot, and if you ever get the chance to volunteer on a tree planting day, just do it, because it's fun, and it's just an enjoyable day. It's just fun. Jerry, thank you. You saved me from doing a bunch of comments on the trail cleanup this weekend, but I did want to say there's a sign-up sheet on the city website, and there's a sign-up sheet on Facebook, and when you sign up, you can list if you have any rakes or leaf blowers that you could bring. And please do it as soon as you can, because we're going to meet Wednesday to try and figure out who's going to what park with what equipment. So if any of you or your friends want to sign up, please let them know that there's a sign-up sheet on the city website. If you haven't been in the business incubator in the hometown video store recently, you should make your way there. It's really cool. There is, McBain Lane has been there, but there's a great plant shop in there now. And the Leatherworks store is still there, and she creates amazing products. But now there is a skate shop in there with skateboards and skateboarding gear, and so the kids are getting ready to get out of school, and he's got some cool stuff in there. So go down and check that out. I think that pretty much covers it, except Mr. Gaines. You're a good cop, but you're a better human being. And I appreciate you. With that, we'll take a motion to adjourn.
Hey, John.
Yes, sir.
I forgot one announcement, if I may.
Yeah.
The Lions Club, White Cane Week is coming up on May 3rd and May 4th. Lions Club members will be at stores, so please give generously. We take care of eyesight for children in the elementary schools, and not only the test, but we buy them glasses. So please give generously.
Thank you.
And Sean will make said motion.
Is there support?
Money will support.
We have roll call, please.
Viancy,
Yes.
Money,
Yes.
Swem,
Yes.
Dennison,
Yes.
Sweden,
Yes.
you're adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.